All right, I'm going to talk about API today. This is in relation to our Splashtop um, API up on the cloud. So I'm going to use Splashtop Enterprise to demonstrate this point. Okay, so as a sample, I'm just going to use only one API, even though we do have a couple of APIs, but I just want to do a very simple demo for this. So the first thing we do is we log in to the Splashtop admin console. We go to management, we go to APIs, and first thing we do is we create the API token, and you can call it anything you want. I just call my web app, and I can just call it Josiah's web app, okay? And you can just keep the rest as a default settings, and you just save it, okay? And you can go ahead and turn on the API. Um, the important thing over here is actually something called the access token. So this is the access token, okay? And I'm going to copy the access token, and I have a sample API call over here that's using the curl command, okay, already pre-filled with this API. So you can see the API is, it looks basically like a URL. So this is what is called a API call, okay. So when you fire off an API call, based on the API layer, whatever it has as part of its functions, you can if you can fire off the API call correctly, you'll be able to make the platform or the system do something for you. Okay, for example, like maybe create a new user account or delete a user account, disable an account or something like this. Okay, in this case, this just for this example is going to be a very simple one. So this is just to pull out the basic information of the user. Okay, now um, I need to copy this access token, which I need to replace over here under the authorization barrier. I need to replace this part with the correct access token. Okay, and I'm going to copy the whole line, and I'm going to go to my Linux box, and I'm just going to paste this curl command. Okay, so if it's done correctly, you should get some kind of result. In this case, it shows that you can see my name, right, Josiah Heng, followed by my email address and time zone Singapore. Okay, required 2SV, true or false. Okay, things like that, and other information like my team ID and so on and so forth. Okay, now how we know that the API is really working? You can just disable off the API from the admin console, and you can try to run, just clear the screen, and then you try to run the command again. Okay, and this time around it fails. Okay, it shows as a error token of fail. Okay, so we can go ahead and turn on the API again, and we can bring back the command and make sure that it's working fine. Okay, great. Okay, so a lot of people know what, or rather, a lot of people have heard about API, but very few people really understand how API is used to extend the functionality of a certain platform, right? Uh, and you probably won't really understand it unless you do coding or some form of programming, web programming or something that uses API calls to extend, the platform. Okay, so I'm just going to do a very quick demo to show how this is done as an example. Um, okay, so over here on my desktop, I have an index.html file, okay, which I open up using a Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is HTML5 code, which actually has a little bit of a JavaScript as well. Okay, JavaScript that's embedded into it, and this code was generated using a series of prompts within ChatGPT. Okay, so I'll show you how the web page actually looks like. And within this HTML code, we actually are also doing an API call, which is actually a GET request, okay, for basic info. Um, and I need to replace the access token, okay. I need to replace the access token with the correct access token over here, this one, okay. So let me just go ahead and replace this, and I'm going to do a Control S to save it, okay. So basically what happens is that this file over here, okay, this index.html file, if I put it on a web server right now and I access this HTML file, I would see two buttons on it. One button when I click, it will make the API call for the basic user info, and you return the info to the web page in a table format. Okay, that has things like my name, my 2SV, true or false, and things like that. Okay, and the other button would be to print the entire page out as a PDF file. Okay, so let me just show you how this looks like. So before I do that, I need to transfer that HTML file that I just created. I'm going to transfer it to a folder called web. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this file into this path, okay, of my VM. And once I have it, I can just go to another window. Um, I'm going to go to my web folder. Okay, so I'm right now I'm inside my web folder. You can see that the index.html file is over here. I'm going to use Python, the Python built-in web server that's built into it. Okay, so I'm going to -m http.server, and I'm going to put it as port 8000. Okay, so now it's running. Python is running a web server on port 8000. Okay, on my IP address. Um, okay, 172.16.111. Okay, now what I can do is I can go back to my desktop. I can open up a new tab. Okay, HTTP 172.16.16.111, and I remember it was port 8000. Okay, so when I run it on port 8000, when I access port 8000, I can see that I got two buttons. This is the HTML page that you saw earlier. Okay, so there's two buttons. So when I click on basic info, um, this is what happens. Okay, it fires off an API call and it displays the following information. Okay, now of course the API call gives me a lot more information than that, but I only want to display a few pieces of that information. Okay, so that is part of the code that is used to format, and only if you look over here, these are the four fields which I asked ChatGPT to generate the code for me, to only extract these four different fields and display it in a table for me to see. Okay, so this is how API is related to coding or programming, and that's how people use API to they use APIs to extend the either to integrate or to extend the functionality of their software, their platform. Okay, yeah, so that's basically how it works. Okay, very simple. Okay, and we can actually test it. If you turn it off, if you reload and you try to run it again. Okay, if it's turned off, it will show as undefined. So I need to turn it on again. Reload the page, click on the button, and it shows like this. Okay, if I want, I can just print it out as a PDF file. Okay, pretty cool. Yeah, so that's basically how it works. Thank you for watching.